Jungian Archetypes, created by the Center of Excellence, narrated by Brian Greyson. Jungian Archetypes, Module 1, Introduction to Jungian Archetypes. What are archetypes? The Jungian concept. When we are born, is our mind a blank slate, which awaits external stimuli and inputs from the world around us? Or has it got a predetermined structure which somehow shapes how and what we'll experience in life? Carl Jung, the renowned 20th century Swiss psychiatrist, believed the latter to be true. According to him, identical psychic structures which are typical to all humans exist in parts of our psyche. These heritable structures influence the way we experience everything in our lives. Jung called these structures archetypes, which can be described as cognitive categories or natural inclinations that we are all born with, and their job is to make us think, feel, perceive, and act in a specific way. The word archetype can be roughly translated as original pattern in the ancient Greek language. An archetype could be a pattern of behavior or thought, an idea, image, or a symbol. It could also be a motif in literature or mythology, or maybe an artistic expression, for instance, a certain kind of painting or an illusion. The concept of archetypes is now associated with the fields of behavioral studies, historical psychology, drama and theatre, and the field of literary studies. What is the psyche? To understand what Jungian archetypes are, we first need to understand his concept of the psyche. When Jung talked about the psyche, he referred to the complete personality of a human being, including his or her thoughts, feelings, emotions, and behaviours, unlike today when the term psyche exclusively means just the mind of a person. So, whenever we speak about psyche in these modules, we are referring to the original meaning of the term as perceived by Jung himself. According to Jung, a person's psyche can be divided into three main realms: the consciousness, the personal unconsciousness, and the collective unconsciousness. These three realms continually interact with one another, and the interactions lead to the potential for one's personal growth and transformation. The three realms of the psyche. Consciousness. Consciousness can be described as one's field of awareness. It consists of all those psychic contents, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions that one knows about or is aware of. The mechanism that directs or controls our field of awareness is what Jung called the ego. According to him, our ego represents our conscious mind, since it comprises our thoughts, emotions, and memories which we are aware of. Primarily, it's our ego which decides what we identify with and how we continue to maintain that identity for ourselves. Jung insisted that the ego plays an important role in an individual's life, since it acts as a watchman, influencing what contents of experience this person's consciousness will be exposed to and which ones will get sidelined. Personal unconsciousness. Jung observed that there are certain events which we have not consciously taken note of. They've remained, so to speak, below the threshold of consciousness. They've happened, but they have been absorbed subliminally. Such events comprise the part of our psyche which Jung called the personal unconsciousness. What this means is that all those events which are discarded or ignored by the ego for whatever reason tend to occupy the personal unconsciousness. It is to be noted that this realm of the psyche is particular to each human, or in other words, it is very individualistic in nature. On the contrary, these structures are either shared by every individual or by large groups of individuals, and they have a universal appeal to their existence. This realm is home to the archetypes. Jung came up with this concept after extensively studying his patients' dreams and fantasies. He also spent a lot of time studying and comparing various religions and mythologies. What he discovered was that there were a lot of similarities between the contents of unconsciousness among several of his patients. He also found uncanny similarities in the religious symbols and the mythological motifs belonging to different civilizations, both old and new. This led him to propose the concept of the collective unconsciousness. He suggested that symbols and motifs from different cultures and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?